raise your glass up high. Turn it up big time. Tall boy on the line. Loud breeze, they will last. Raise your...
Welcome back to episode 288 of the Tallboy Radio Podcast. And as we always say, who knows where it goes when the beer flows? Well, tonight we've got a doozy of an episode for you. It's one of those episodes that I knew Gaz would really, really enjoy. And guess what? I'm without my sidekick tonight. I'm not going to tell you why he's here, but he definitely didn't forget his nephew's 21st birthday.
Oh, definitely. Definitely not.
Definitely not, but we're certain of that. Happy birthday, Lewis, if you are watching or if you watch it back. Speaking of Lewis, here's another fellow with that name. Did you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and why we've invited you on?
Yeah, so hi guys, my name's Lewis and I'm one half of Lew and Mill, which I doubt anyone will know, but yeah, basically we're just a couple of normal people from Alsager, funnily enough, small world. Yeah, we just like Disney and traveling pretty much. I wouldn't normally just narrow it down to just Disney, but the main channel is geared towards more the Disney Universal side of things, vlogging. But yeah, that's pretty much in a nutshell.
Yeah, so we're heading towards that holiday season now. Certainly in the UK, we've had a little bit of decent weather, which makes a very, very pleasant change. But nonetheless, people will plan to get away a little bit. And certainly Florida and those parts of the world tend to get a little bit better weather than we normally do.
Definitely.
So definitely. So like you said, you're one half of a duo, Lew and Mill, and you can find them on Instagram. We'll touch base at some point and we'll share the in the show notes where you can find them on YouTube and on Instagram and the different places. Did you want to tell us a little bit then about, well, first of all, what got you interested in the idea of creating a travel vlog?
Well, I'll be honest, it was mainly me, from just watching other creators and just in the end thought, you know what, how hard can it be? Everyone is so nice and like the whole Disney community kind of travel vlog kind of, I'm guessing you'll know yourself from being a podcaster, everyone kind of gets along with each other. I just thought, you know what, I'll give it a go. And if I don't like it, I don't like it. It's not going to harm anyone, is it? I mean, you'll obviously get people that might not like your videos or listen to anything, but it's one of them, isn't it? You just do what you want to do, and it's really good. Met a lot of people through it so far, which is great. But yeah.
Yeah. And so are you going to be focusing purely on Disney, or is that just how you're starting off at this point in time?
Well, to be fair, our first vlogs were from Menorca. So Menorca vlogs kind of came before the Disney stuff. But I'm more knowledgeable towards the whole Florida kind of side of things, like Disney Universal. I'd like to say I'm a bit of a guru on it. But yeah, that's why we're here to talk about it. So any hit tips or anything I can give you, definitely I'll pass them across.
Absolutely. And I know a lot of our listeners will definitely benefit from that. Like I say, Gaz has visited the parks in Florida a couple of times. I've not. I've done Disneyland Paris. That's the only one I've done. Am I missing out?
Massively. I mean, I personally haven't done Paris, but Millie has. And she's just says it's a completely different beast, completely different animal compared to the Paris one. So you need to get yourself out there.
So I'm told. And then Gaz always says this to me. So he did Disneyland Paris first, the same way as I've been there. And he went there. His kids are a little bit older than mine. So he went there, he took his kids and he said, look, it's absolutely phenomenal. But the second you set foot in Florida, you realize it just pales into insignificance compared to it. It's just phenomenal out there.
Yeah. Well, you've got the 4 main theme parks in Florida, as well as 2 water parks. Well, this is Disney we're talking about, obviously not even mentioning Universal. But I think there's only the 2 in Paris. And I think the car park this might be wrong, so people might be able to correct me. I think the car park of Magic Kingdom in Florida is the same size as the Disneyland Paris, I think. Just to put it into perspective of how big the park is.
That's pretty big, and I can tell you, as someone who walked around it with a 4-year-old on my shoulders for the most part as well, which was tough. Yeah, I did 30,000 steps every single day, and we stayed in one. I forget the name of the hotel now. It's the Cars themed one. If anybody else has ever been.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so it's only a short walk away, really. You know, people talk about getting transported. Nah, I'll walk it. But I tell you what, 3 days of walking around with a 4-year-old on my shoulders who refused to walk more than 15 steps, 1,000. Yeah, it was tough. But I will say it was well worth it. It was well worth the visit. It's another one of those places that my wife had to convince me to go to. So before you started vlogging, then had you been to Orlando? Had you been to the parks beforehand?
Yeah. I'd been, I want to say 3 times beforehand, and Mill, because me and Mill have been together 3 times now, and I'd been once before that, so back in 2018. So yeah, we've been 4 times now, and next year we'll be going back. So yeah, got that to look forward to. But going back to obviously what we were saying about Paris, the amount of steps, obviously it can get hot over in Paris, but it's the humidity that all it catches up to you the most when you're in Florida. It's a different level of heat over there when you've got the humidity kind of clashing together with it.
Yeah, I must admit. So I've never been to Florida. I've been to the States quite a few times, but Florida is not a place I've visited yet. It will be a place I will no doubt have to visit with my kids because they love Disney. Were you guys fans of Disney beforehand?
I wouldn't say I'm like one of these mega fans. It's weird because me and Mel grew up completely different. So Mel didn't watch anything Disney growing up, whereas I have a younger sister who at the time loved Disney. In fact, she still does now. She's a couple of years younger than me, but we were kind of pushed to watch the Disney stuff. So I won't complain if anything gets put on. Whereas I said, Mel kind of had to like recently watch a lot of stuff to kind of get the idea of into Disney. But it's the thing with, I guess, like people might think, oh yeah, you go into Disney as an adult and all that stuff. But I'm guessing you kind of found out as yourself that it's not just about it being Disney. It's about just like the experience. It's brilliant.
Well, I think, yeah, I know what you mean, and it's one of those things. I think we've all sort of smirked at the guy in the Winnie the Pooh hoodie or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't mean that nastily, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
But nowadays, Disney encompasses so much more than those characters. And don't get me wrong, I watch with my kids. So films like Luca, you know, when they first
they're brilliant.
I love them. Yeah, I love watching them. I must admit, just recently we watched the new Snow White one, not the animated one, obviously the live action.
Yeah.
It's been panned, but I actually didn't think it was too bad. I'm not going to say I loved it, but I don't see what the fuss was about. I thought it was an okay film.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's stuff like that. I think maybe like if you're going back to maybe Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse now, if you're maybe an adult watching it, then that's a bit, you know what I mean? But these newer films where they're like more live action remakes, and some of the animated ones, as you say, like can't go wrong with whacking like Monsters University on or something like that. It's just a comfort watch, isn't it? Especially when you've got kids yourself.
Oh yeah, and not just that though. I mean, you now got Marvel and Star Wars that are all thrown
exactly.
in.
Well, yeah, you're right there as well. So I'll be honest, I haven't been brought up on Marvel films, so I've never really like gone towards watching them. But I recently sat down and watched I know it was a terrible start, but like the Guardians of the Galaxy. I just sat down and watched all 3 of them, like pretty much in a row, just to throw myself into the Marvel films.
Well, I see, as you can probably tell by my grey whiskers, I grew up watching the Star Wars films. So anything where you get to interact those and try and hopefully introduce my children into getting excited by that as well is great for me. But yeah, I know what you mean. I didn't know what to expect when I first went. You know, I still find the idea of people having a picture taken with somebody in a costume and you don't know what that person looks like a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be honest, we're not massive like photo with the cast member people. I've always found it a bit awkward, but we did like pull out the boat to have a photo with one of the minions just because we found them pretty funny. Um, yeah, I don't know what it is about the minions, but other than that, I wouldn't catch us getting photos with like Mickey Mouse and stuff. But each to their own, really, isn't it? People like what they like.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
but yeah, it's not me and Mel, if you know what I mean. We're quite introverted actually, so I don't know how I would react. I felt quite awkward around Bob the minion. So yeah, you could probably on our Instagrams the photo of us, me and Mel just standing in the middle, and I just didn't know what to do with my arms. So it's just an awkward one, isn't it?
I tell you what, that needs to go on a t-shirt. I felt quite awkward with Bob the Minion.
Definitely, 100%.
So yeah, I must admit, like I had my picture taken with Mickey Mouse, and if Gaz was here, he would share a story that when I was a kid, and I do mean a kid, like 3 or 4 years old, I had an imaginary friend, and
Oh right.
I used to imagine that I had Mickey Mouse sat on my shoulder. So it was
Oh, okay.
quite a salubrious imaginary
I
friend.
was going to say it's like bringing an imaginary friend to life.
Yeah, sharing that on the podcast with with the people that listen, probably going to come back and haunt me at some point. So when you're out there visiting the different parks, just out of interest, then, what's your favorite ride in the different parks? Give us a few ideas of the things that people can look forward to when they visit.
Well, it's difficult to say really because Universal and Disney are so different. I personally say that the Universal parks are more aimed towards the elder, obviously still geared for kids as well because you've got kids lands, but Universal's where you'll find more of the like the coasters, if you know what I mean. So you've got a roller coaster like Velocicoaster, which is unreal, but really scary. It's like an Intamin launch coaster, and it's like you've only got a lap bar, but you're going upside down. Huge top hats, so you feel like you're going to fall out. It's just all about the airtime. So Universal, you're going to find all the better coasters, whereas at Disney, you'll find a couple of decent roller coasters, especially in like Animal Kingdom. And the new one, well, I say the new one, they built it a few years ago, Guardians of the Galaxy, which is at Epcot. That's a really good one, but long wait times. But yeah, I think no matter what park that you go into, whether that's Disney or Universal, there's going to be something for anyone, which is the best thing, in my opinion, about all the parks.
Are you a big roller coaster fan then?
I'd set me on the edge of being yes and no. The Velocicoaster, I won't sit out roller coasters. I'm not like one of them that'll just refuse to go on any of them, but I will get into the queue. And then the closer we get to the ride, I'll be regretting my decision, but then I'll come off and you've got the you've got the adrenaline. I think that's all you run on, really, isn't it? Adrenaline. Especially when if you get the chance to take some a look at the Velocicoaster roller coaster, it's one of a kind. It's horrible.
I'm not familiar with that one. I'll have to have a Google and have a look at that one. In terms of there's no roller coaster then that you've ever dipped out and thought, no, I ain't doing that.
No, there isn't actually. No, I'll be honest. I'll go on anything. Mill's not a fan of a few of them. One of them that they're getting rid of at Universal Studios, which is Rip Ride Rocket, which is like just got like a vertical climb, which isn't very nice. But other than that, no, I won't sit out any of them. I don't want to miss out. I've got FOMO. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like if you're gonna pay a lot of money to go over there and go to the parks, I don't want to be missing out on anything.
No. I pay to go to the top of the Stratosphere in Las Vegas, and on the top of that, yeah, they've got this arm that slides down, and then there's like the roller coaster slides and it jolts down, and it literally looks like you're going over the edge of.
Oh,
think it's about 111 stories up or something ridiculous like that. But when you stood on top, you can see the planes coming into McCarran Airport and you're above.
Ooh.
So I paid to go on that, and I was like, I'd psyched myself up for it because I am not a big roller coaster person. Terrify me. Absolutely hate them.
You like chose the worst one.
It literally is the worst one. I'd done the New York one. I forget what it's called now, but the yellow taxis is
Yeah.
I forget the name of it. And I thought, God, I can cope with that. And I only just cope with that. And I had quite a fair bit of beer when I did it. I'll have a go on this one. And we stood there and everybody's screaming and what have you. And everybody got off apart from this one woman. And literally they had to come and pry her fingers off to get her off the ride.
You're joking.
Yeah, no word of a lie. I was like, I am not getting on that. I don't care. I've paid for it already. I'm going back down. I'm happy enough. I'm just going to have a cocktail and go downstairs.
You know what? I'll be honest. I think I would pass on that. I know I've just said I wouldn't, but now I'm thinking about it because recently a couple of the theme parks in America, they've brought out like they're testing a new style of ride, which basically you'll get to like the top of like a lift hill, and then you'll slowly like lower and then just tilt like a bit like Oblivion, but worse, like the track will disconnect and then it'll link back up. But yeah, I don't think you could catch me on them type of ones. Just give me like your hyper coasters, like inversions and stuff, but nothing like that. Nothing where I actually feel like I'm going to die on it.
No, I've seen the clips of those ones where the track reconnects.
Yeah. Oh,
that was just no.
One of them, I saw a video that it got stuck for like 10 minutes and they were just stuck in the vertical position and they had to prise it back up because of a fault. So, wouldn't want to be them people.
I can't even imagine. That would just about do it on roller coasters for me. That would just about do it.
Definitely.
Yeah. So my daughter's she's only 8 years old, but she's a thrill seeker. If she can go on the ride, and annoyingly, she's quite tall. My wife refused to go on them, so if anybody ever wants them, I go on them with her. And yeah, so she did a few of the rides. Like we did Hyperspace Mountain in Disneyland Paris, and she got off and she was like, I was laughing so much.
Oh, bless her.
And the Irish ladies behind me said, well, we couldn't hear you laughing because your dad was screaming so much. Which was probably true, to be fair.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's a great. Well, I haven't obviously been on the Hyperspace Mountain, but the one at in Florida is, I think it's pretty much basically the same. And even though that's like one of the oldest roller coasters still active, still a bit of a come off thinking, oh God, was I going to get decapitated at some point?
Well, you do feel like that because it's dark. You just don't know what's around the corner. But I mean, it was fantastic. I think that might have helped. Until I'm upside down, I do not like being upside down. Yeah. So one of the things that you mentioned there is why you're queuing. So how do you deal with the long wait times? Have you got any tips for things to do to keep you entertained in it? And do you pay for that extra pass to get you on a little bit quicker?
Well, answer to the first question is fans. So I'm talking like neck fans, waist fans, which are brilliant. You can get them from Temu for like £7, and they really do help. Cooling towels, and this is literally just for the queues. A lot of the rides will have, like the queues will have shade, but again, it kind of is like 50-50 to whether that one, you might be standing waiting for something for 10 minutes and the line doesn't move and you're just stuck in bright direct sunlight. But then other times when you get inside, it's like a massive relief because it's just like the best aircon in the world. But yeah, I mean, I've seen people play games in the line, download apps on the phone, or people are literally just checking like what the wait times are on other rides just to pass the time. But yeah, and then moving on to like the lightning lane, which is what it's called. Yeah, we've never done that, and we haven't ever struggled to get on rides, and we've been in literally all the peak months, funnily enough. But if you want to make your experience a little bit better, I mean, go for it. But as a couple, we haven't paid for it. But I can imagine, I guess, like you with your younger daughters, you don't want them standing in the heat for long. So it's, I don't know. I reckon if you went and asked a load of different people, they would tell you a different answer.
Yeah.
Whereas me and Mill, it doesn't really fuss us if we have to queue, because we're not. Long story short, we don't really go out and go like, right, we're going to queue all day. We'll dip in and out of parks. So like we'll do a couple of rides there and then maybe go back to the hotel, chill, or go to like some of the outlets, then go back into a park and then just pick off, which is the bonus of going for 14 days when you've only got like, is it 3 or 4 days you went to Paris, I'm guessing?
Yeah, we did 3 days in the park.
Yeah. It's just a completely different beast. And, but yeah, it's up to you, whatever you want to do. Like people, I'm guessing, can do their own research. And as I mentioned before, like maybe if you've got a bigger family and younger kids, it might be beneficial to you to make your life a little bit easier.
I'll be honest, we never did because it's actually quite expensive to pay. Actually,
Yeah.
And you paid a premium to be there already. And we did Disneyland Paris at Easter, so it was quite busy. But again, I didn't think our queue times were dreadful. One of the things we did take advantage of is the app that tells you the sort of times. Is that I presume that's the standard thing in Florida as well, is it?
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's like My Disney Experience app, and you've got all the wait times. I think you can even set alerts to if a ride becomes like a certain wait time, it'll send you like a push notification. I know Universal do that definitely, which comes in really handy because Velocicoaster again is probably averaging like a 70-minute wait. So you whack on what wait time you're comfortable with having, and it'll send you a notification, and you can just sprint over there before everyone else gets the same notification.
That's decent. That is. The other thing I wanted to ask about the parks is, whenever you visit something, do you know what I mean? Everybody knows a thing or two about the Disney parks. They have an idea about some of the rides, whether it's Pirates of the Caribbean that they've heard of maybe through the films or prior to that. Is there any hidden gems in the parks that you think is absolutely brilliant? Other people might not necessarily rate, but something that if you were going to do, you wouldn't like to miss out upon?
Oh, 100%. So in one of the Florida parks called Epcot, so long story short, Epcot, for people who don't know, I'm not sure if you know yourself, is they've got a huge lake, and then around the lake are, I'm trying to think how many, I think it might be 12 different country lands that they've like built. Like you'd think you were in like Mexico or the UK. They've got like a pub and stuff like that. Like they've done it down to the T. But in the American land, they've got like a huge auditorium, like bigger than any like Odeon or View cinema in like the UK. And it's all based on like the evolution of America. So they take you through like the independence, like the Civil War and everything, and you kind of come out thinking, oh, that's really patriotic and a bit cringy because you know what they're like.
Yeah.
But also proper knowledgeable, and it's definitely something that I recommend doing, because I don't think a lot of people realize that within certain things at Disney, they'll have stuff that are like tucked away. So like, for example, that what I've just mentioned, there's one at Magic Kingdom, which is the history of presidents, which again is in like a huge auditorium, and they just put so much like thought into like this little, like, I think it's like about half an hour show. The aircon's amazing as well, so it's a good break from it's honestly, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me like people falling asleep because it's so nice in there. It's like pitch black, and they've got like a stage in front. It's huge, and it's just going through like how all the presidents got elected and stuff. So yeah, that's brilliant. That's a couple of things. I'm trying to think of other things. There's just so much. There's so much. I'm not doing it justice. Trying to think of Universal.
I think it's very, and this is the thing, isn't it? Because the size of the place and there's so much there that it's very difficult to do it justice in terms of like covering it off. Our podcast lasts round about the hour, so it's very difficult to cram it all in and explain it all, and especially trying to put it in a way that somebody can actually picture it as well. So I was unaware of those two places there that you've just mentioned, but sound like they would be absolutely right up my alley. Those are the sort of things I'd enjoy doing. The last thing I want to do is be strapped upside down on a roller coaster. So sat learning about history is much more. And if you can have a beer on top of that, that would be absolutely perfect.
Yeah, I don't think they allow you to drink in there, which is not a great part. But outside of it is because I don't know if you know. Have you ever heard of Drink the World?
I have not, but I'm interested.
So, long story short, is in every world there's a bar, like where you can get drinks, and like there's a challenge of going around to every single like country and getting an alcoholic drink, and then just obviously seeing how far you can get without failing. It's not something I've done personally, but because I'll be honest, I couldn't think of anything worse than getting drunk in that degree of heat and then all the steps. But it's a challenge I'd like to see you take on when you do get over there.
Yeah, challenge accepted. I like the sound of that, my friend. So I've got to
Sounds
ask you. Yeah, it does sound good. So I've got to ask you then, in terms of the British pub, how you're a man who will have visited a British pub or two. How authentic are they? Is it close?
I'd give it a 7 out of 10. It looks a bit like the Coronation Pub, Rover's Return. That's all I can say. And then they got some very expensive fish and chips outside, where the chips are just like American steak fries, like the thick cut. They're not like any, but they'll charge I think it's like $16 for a fish and chips. So that what we're talking about. I think it's about £14, isn't it?
Yeah. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah,
sorry, go.
No, I was just going to say I give it a 7 out of 10. Like the whole UK area is it's probably one of the smallest lands. I don't think they probably could think of many things to put in the UK one. But where if you literally move across to the next land, which is like France, and you see the amount of effort they put into the France land, it's stunning. Honestly, you would think that you were there. It's like one of them places where you have to be there to experience it. But again, it involves a lot of walking. Just have a nosy once you've come off this, and it's called Epcot. The park is. It's stunning.
Yeah, Gaz has certainly mentioned that once to me. Now, interesting enough, I have an American cousin. He lives in Texas, and he loves roller coasters and he loves rides. And he's visited the pub there in Florida, and he said the same thing as yourself. To be honest with you, it wasn't perfect, but it wasn't too bad a job. So he's been over here, and I've taken him around a few different pubs around here. Around Edinburgh, we visited Edinburgh, and in fact, he's coming over to the UK next year. We're going to do a pub tour of Britain, starting in London and working our way to Edinburgh. But yeah, he said the same sort of thing, that it wasn't 100% authentic, but they'd had a good go. God bless them.
Definitely. I mean, when you've got green sleeves, whatever it's called, playing just over and over again, you know what you're kind of going to get.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Yeah, you're going to stop for one and only one and move on to France World then, aren't you, after that?
Definitely.
So one of the things that Disney is famous for, when you see a lot of the vloggers and bloggers talking about it, is the food in the different parks and the different restaurants that you can visit, the different snacks that you can pick up. Do you want to tell us a little bit then about some of your places that you would recommend that people definitely visit, some of the snacks that they might want to pick up?
Yeah, 100%. It's hard to narrow it down. So top favorite is going to be a restaurant called Boma, which is in one of the Disney resort hotels, Animal Kingdom Lodge, which if you don't know, it's the hotel where the hotel is built around like a reservation, like with giraffes and zebras, and I think you might be able to see elephants. I'm not sure, but you know what I mean. You get the story. And then one of their restaurants is called Boma, and they do like an African American style like buffet, so it's like all you can eat. It's very expensive, as are all of the Disney restaurants. So that's what you got to bear in mind. But the breakfast is absolutely stunning. All you can eat, pretty much anything. The sausages, because I don't know if you noticed, like the sausages over there they're not like over here. They're kind of like chipolatas, aren't they? Like quite small. but that's the only place where I've actually had sausages that taste like UK ones. So it's brilliant. I think you're talking about, I think it's $49 for a breakfast.
Wow.
And it's not even like a character one. Where you've got the characters coming round. So it's not even a character one. But I'd put that on a list. But I wouldn't say if you're not a breakfast person, then I'd give it a miss. But obviously they do like dinner and service that we haven't tried yet, which is really meant to be quite good as well, with all different African style dishes from Africa. I'm trying to think. Just in the parks, there's just so many different ones. Like you'll stumble across like a little. I mean, you probably found yourself like there's so many, especially in France with the pastries, and they do a creme brulee. I want to say it's like a creme brulee donut by the filling. Oh, it's stunning. It's just the fries and the chicken tenders. We had some poutine in the Canada area at Epcot, which was lovely. Just loads of different stuff. Honestly, it's there's too much to list. But again, going back to the Disney app, if you want just a quick nosy of what snacks you can look like, you can pretend to order stuff and you can just get a feel of like what you want. That's just so you can not stress about it when you get into the parks and it's 35 degrees heat and you're stressing about what snack to feed your kids.
Well, that's it. Yeah, you do. And you do. Well, more about myself, actually. And normally I'm stressing about where I can get a beer.
Oh, yes. Don't blame you.
But this is the good thing, though, isn't it? But for people like yourselves, people like me, when I plan a holiday, and like I said earlier, jokingly, half jokingly, but it's also quite true, that when I was planning my cruise that I went on last year, I spoke to Holidays with the Heathers because they'd done the same cruise, and I got on, and I'd watched all their videos, and everybody does this now. Before you go on a holiday, you jump online, and we rely on someone like yourself. Holiday with the Heathers and the Brit Travels, as we mentioned earlier. Lee's guested on the podcast before. Hello, Lee, if you are watching. Thank you for joining us on the occasions he did. And it's great to watch because they are fantastic tips. So are you conscious when you're creating the footage or when you're filming or when you're choosing what it is that you're going to use in there, that you're going to make it useful for the people who are then watching it afterwards? Or are you just basically sharing my holiday and this is what I do and this is what I enjoy?
I'd say it's a bit of a mixture of both because I feel like no one really likes a disinformative video, but especially like me, I know what my attention span's like. So if I'm watching a vlog and the first maybe minute and a half is just like the intro of like a montage, then I'm a bit like, oh, it's not really my kind of thing. But if we're like straight into it, tips, and mind you, I sound bad saying that because I watch a load of vlogs. Obviously this like the Disney vlogger kind of like Universal scenes like so good, and there's so many nice people, and so many people are creating stuff now, which is brilliant, isn't it? Because the more people, more tips. Like for example, like there's so many things that I've picked up from being, even though I've been a few times, that I've seen people do, and I'm like, oh, flipping heck, I didn't realize that was a thing until I've watched a vlog. But yeah, I'd say more the informative vlogs that are the good ones. They'll show you new things. That's what I like. That's what I enjoy.
Yeah, I honestly, same sort of thing. I'll watch. I won't just watch one. I'll watch a whole load of people, and and certainly when we did Disneyland Paris, it was a couple of years ago, so it was before you were vlogging. So I don't feel too guilty about not watching yours for that.
No, that's all right. Don't worry.
But next time we go to Florida, I'll make sure I do my research on yours first. But I think Sam for God was one of the ones that she's really quite notorious, isn't she, for blogging about the parks? I don't know if you've come across any of hers.
Who's that? Sorry.
Is it Sam for God? I think her name is on Instagram. Yeah, I forget her name. I'm terrible.
No, I don't think I've heard of. No, I can't say I've heard of it.
No, I mean, you don't need to because you're creating your own content, so that's absolutely fine.
No, it's not anything like that. I think there's, as I mentioned before, I think there's so many people doing like the Disney vlogs. I mean, as I said, we've only been doing it a year, but you've got some vloggers and stuff that have been doing it like years and years and years, which is brilliant. I think it's one of them things where it can't not get repetitive, but it can at the same time. Like if you're maybe doing like 3 trips a year to Disney World, there's only going to be so much you record before your viewers are like, oh, maybe we want something different, which is what would kind of be our aim. I mean, we go back next year, and this year we only did like one little video because we wanted to test the water just to see like what is vlogging going to be like out there, because it's a completely different scene compared to like vlogging in Menorca, which is what our first vlogs were. But yeah, I think next year we'll go full on. I think there's a big expectation to like you go out and you buy like the best camera and like a good laptop because you want to go out and you want to do stuff, and then the reality is when you get there, maybe it's not for you, maybe it is. But again, it goes back to just being comfortable doing what you want to do, and obviously when you see people that like your content, which is really nice, and you make new friends as well. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that is good. So one of the things you said earlier then, interestingly enough, and to be fair, I would also describe myself as a bit of an introvert, and yet I put myself out here every single week and do a podcast that's listened to in 78 countries around the world. So, how being an introvert, did you think, is this for me? Do you use it at all? Because we've had people on in the past on our podcast who've used their podcast to get them and pull themselves out of their shell. Was that something you were thinking of when you did it, or was it just, this looks like fun, I want to have a go?
Oh, well, that's a good question, actually. I want to say that when I brought the expensive flipping camera, the DJI Pocket 3, which is a great camera. I don't know if you've had the chance to look at one yourself. It was a bit of an impulsive buy, and it was kind of like, oh God, what have I got myself into now? But we went to Menorca, and the first couple of days were a bit shaky, a little bit nervous. I was repeating myself. You could probably see it in the videos. But then as it kind of got on, you kind of grow more confidence, don't you? And at the end of the day, I mean, people will look at you while you're doing it, but it doesn't really matter because they don't speak English, so they don't know what you're saying. Getting a few funny looks, but especially in because basically we went to Menorca in like October, so it was pretty quiet. I was just pulling out this camera in like the middle of like the Cittadella, which is like really like quiet area. It kind of felt a bit awkward at times, but I just kind of pushed through it. Mill was a bit more, I don't know what the word, well, I'd say she's more introverted than me, which is me being how I am. It's mad, really, because we're both just so shy around everything. But yeah, it's one of them things, being introverted and pulling out a camera in front of public, in front of everyone. I guess it kind of, being honest, it caught up to us a little bit when we went to Florida. So like we went to Florida with the full intention of like vlogging the whole thing. And like we vlogged all the way up until we got into Orlando airport. And like I was just thinking like, I don't know if this is just for this trip, if you know what I mean. If it's what I wanted to do, like it's the thought of like having to not fake it, because I feel like I'm not one of them vloggers who will fake every reaction to something. But I didn't want to put Mel in a position where I thought that maybe she might be feeling uncomfortable, even though she'll support me, and she was gutted that I didn't really do it. But it only took until like the last couple of days of the holiday where I was like, you know what, why not? And then I pulled out the camera, and it just felt normal because you've got so many people doing it in Orlando. It's just like a normal thing. No one really bats an eyelid at all.
No, it's interesting that, because there are a number of people doing it, and to be honest with you, like I said, I did a cruise last year, and one of the things my wife likes me to do is do a video. So my daughter's name's Matilda. She has her own YouTube channel. It's got 8 subscribers.
Brilliant.
It's got 8
I'll
subscribers.
subscribe.
It's not, yeah, thank you. It's called Titty Tube, and basically, she's done a few videos. She watches all sorts of this kind of stuff, and I think
Yeah.
that's the thing. I'm a little bit older. I'm 50. I'm 50, and and she loves this kind of stuff. She'll watch all kind of vlogs. She'll watch everything, and the people who are very, very comfortable doing it. So my wife likes me to do a video of these things. Now, for my 50th birthday a couple of years ago, we were out in Texas visiting my cousin. I spent it out there just outside of San Antonio. And my wife said, "You need to do a video." I was like, "No, I'm not going to do a video of this one. I want to experience this through my own eyes. I don't need a
Yeah,
video.
exactly.
This is really important to me. I just want to just soak up my family's culture, because, if it wasn't for the grace of God, I could have been born out there. It just so happened that, well, long story. That's for another episode. So yeah, so how do you feel then, comparing the two? You'd visited Disneyland and you've done it as a holiday maker. How do you find that balance then? Do you still get the enjoyment when you're making the videos, or is it a different kind of enjoyment?
Uh, I mean, as I said before, we got there and then thought, oh, maybe it isn't for us this trip. I mean, you kind of go on how you're feeling when you get there. It's, but I don't even know how to describe it. It's just what you've just mentioned there about wanting to see stuff through your own eyes and not having to be bothered about bringing out a camera. Even though I know I wouldn't have let it like overtake like the natural, whatever the word is, like what's in front of you, but it's still that thought of, oh, shall I pull out the camera now? Shall I record now? But then at the end of the holiday, when I pulled the camera out, it didn't bother me. It didn't bother Mill. No one was looking. I recorded what I wanted. Didn't feel like, oh, I had to pull it out at any point. But yeah, it's just finding that balance and not overthinking about what you want to, like, if you're going to plan out your day by day, yeah, I'm going to record this, I'm going to record that, then it's going to be unnatural, isn't it? Like, if you're going to walk in front of the Disney castle, like Cinderella's castle, and you're going to be like over the top with your reaction, it's not going to go. I don't know. Me personally, I'd rather see someone pull out the camera, I'm guessing, like after they've seen it for the first time, and then I don't know. That's down to me. Other people might be different. People like what they like, don't they? I know people like over the top reactions and tears and everything, but it's not for me.
No, I know what you mean. They do, and I know some of the stuff. Oh, gee whiz, when my daughter's sticking stuff on, she sticks it on YouTube on the telly. I can't bear to watch some of it. I really can't. You know what I mean?
I can imagine.
Yeah, trust me, dude. Yeah, but when I'm watching something, what I want to see is an authentic experience. I want an honest experience. I'm not watching it because of the production quality. I want somebody to tell me what they're actually thinking, the stuff that I can do while I'm there, the food that
Yeah.
I can buy, because I do enjoy a good meal or two whenever I'm on holiday.
Oh, same.
I'm when I'm not, but but you know what I mean. It's someone giving me an authentic, sharing their experience authentically is what I'm looking for. So I think you've hit the nail right on the head there. And I think, if you were to give people tips, I think, I'm guessing one of the ones that you would give people is to do what you're comfortable with, to be honest and be authentic and be true to yourself and not try and put on an act. Is there any other tips other than, like I say, those cameras that you bought? I have had a look at them, and I went for the GoPro because it was cheaper. So
Yeah,
have
I don't
you,
blame you.
have you got any
Yeah.
have you got any tips to give people? I think we might have
I'll
lost
be
connection.
honest, I did get a word of that because it might be my internet. Yeah.
No, it's fine. I was just
It
asking
keeps
for any
dropping in
if
and
you got
out.
any.
I don't know if is it my end?
It doesn't appear to be this end, but if you've got any hints
Oh,
and
it's gone
tips.
again. I'm so sorry. Is it
No,
my
no,
end?
no. It might be. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'll edit this out afterwards. Are you back with us?
What was it? Hints and tips.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I'm back. Am I back?
you're back. You're back.
Right. I think I'm gone again. So sorry.
No, okay.
Right. Let's try again now. Was it hints and tips about?
Just hints and tips for people who were looking to vlog their holidays.
Just go into it, not stressing about what other people think, not stressing about what you're going to record, and not stressing about it ruining your holiday, which is what I did and overthink, and just be natural with it and just record what you want to record. No one's pressuring you to record anything. You shouldn't have pressure on yourself to, maybe if you've gone out and brought the camera, which I did, and put pressure on myself to vlog stuff. I wish I'd told myself, looking back at myself now, and would have just said, look, just don't stress about it. Plenty of people do it. If people watch it, it's up to them. If you're happy putting something out on the internet, then it's a passion that you've got. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
No, I think that's very, very good advice. It is very good advice, and I do, yeah. I mean, when I film stuff, I haven't used an expensive camera. I've done it on my phone. I do a little bit on the GoPro when we're doing any footage, like especially for centre parks in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to have that for it as well. So taking it back to the holidays, then one of the things that people consider, and I don't put too much thought into the hotel I'm going to stay in because I don't really plan on spending an awful lot of time inside of it. I like to get out and I would like to do stuff. Anybody who's ever been on holiday with me in the past will tell you what a pain in the arse I can be because I like to be doing something every minute of the day. So,
I don't blame you.
Where are the best places to stay? Can you do you stay in the parks? Do you get yourself a villa off park?
I say it comes down to preference, really. You can do it on a budget and stay off-site. There's a place called I Drive, which is like the touristy part of Orlando. It's like a big strip of road that's got restaurants and a load of different things to do. Or you can stay in like an area called Lake Buena Vista, which is closer to Disney, further away from Universal, which is where the iDrive area is. Or you can do what you said, you can get a villa. Probably works out better if you're going as like a big family and you've got more adults where they're splitting the money with you. Whereas I'm guessing if you would just go with your kids, it's going to be you and the other half paying the all the money. Or you can go and you can splash out and stay in one of like the Disney or Universal hotels. It's completely up to you. They're expensive, the Disney hotels. But I guess you could say they were luxury, depending on which ones you're staying, because you've obviously got the budget hotels. I say budget. I mean, you've probably seen yourself how expensive even the budget Disney hotels are.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's whatever floats your boat. As you said, if you're not planning on spending any time in the room and you're going to be out all the time, which is literally just going to be a base, then you're best just staying off site. Yeah, that's what I'd recommend.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Like I say, I've only got the one experience, and we stayed in the car-themed one. I forget what it's called now, but yeah. To be fair, the hotel itself was quite nice. Kids absolutely loved it because it's Disney themed. Wasn't cheap, but to be honest, we got a little bit of an upgrade because I taught my daughter to speak a bit of French, so we sent her up to the set. And I thought this might do as well, and it did. We got ourselves an upgrade, so that wasn't too bad. Yeah, it's worth it. Listen, it's worth doing.
Definitely.
That's one of my tips for Disneyland Paris. Learn a bit of French. The French definitely appreciate that.
Brilliant.
So give us any tips then as well. So if it's just the two of you going, give us a few tips for the perfect date night in Disneyland.
Well, first of all, I've got to correct you because it's Disney World. You'll have all the Disney people battering you. Now, I'm not bothered about it. Call it what you want, but I know people will be probably watching now and thinking it's Disney World. Which you will get some people. Not even joking.
I'm looking forward to those emails.
Right. I would say you could go to. There's so many things. I'm trying to think what. It depends what you like. If you're a drinker, I'd say Epcot, because Magic Kingdom was designed where alcohol can only be consumed in one restaurant at a table service, which is I can't remember what it's called, but Epcot definitely. I guess you could go round and maybe even do the drink the world. I mean, that'd be a good date depending on what the other half likes. Trying to think, or Hollywood Studios, which is more based as it says, like Hollywood. There's a couple of nice restaurants there you could go to, get a dining reservation, which again you have to do. I think it's 30 days out from whenever you're going to the parks. But yeah, it's hard to say. There's that many things you could do. But again, watching YouTube videos and just general research, that's the biggest tip I can give anyone who's going to Florida. Make sure you do your research.
Yeah, there's an awful, like you say, there's an awful lot of resource out there for you to view before you plan your trip. And I think people are pretty wise to it. I think everybody does tend. Well, I don't know if everybody does, but I know I certainly tend to watch a lot of videos before I even visit a place, even if I'm just doing data. To be honest, I'll bang
definitely.
Yeah, it is great.
Nothing wrong with it.
No. I think it's very, very, very good advice. So, as well as that, then, what Disney's famous for as well is those special times of year, whether that's Halloween or Christmas. Have you visited on any of those?
I personally haven't, but obviously, speaking to people that have been to like the Disney's, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called like Howl-O-Scream or something. Really good reviews from that, and obviously, I think they decorate the park quite early. I think as soon as they get, I don't even know, I think it's late September, they start decorating Magic Kingdom, the main park, with the Halloween stuff. For Christmas, I think it's as soon as Halloween ends. So I think you're going to have like November and December to visit when it's like that, which it is on the list. But it's a lot more expensive during them times because obviously it's like a theme time. So they're like putting the prices up.
They do. They know how to make money, them folks at Disney do, don't they?
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, they do. I must admit, like I see some of that stuff, and it does look fantastic. It does look fantastic. Whether I'd make especially with my kids as young as they are, I probably wouldn't do Christmas with them just yet. But when you're planning, so when you're planning your trips, if you had the ultimate budget, cost what you like, what would be your perfect Disney holiday that you would like to head out on and film?
Ooh. Well, I think for starters, I would make sure that if we're flying with Virgin, that I'd upgrade to premium economy. I mean, I'm not even bothered about upper class. I just think the jump from normal economy to premium is huge and so worth it if you get the chance to do it. Not that I'm saying go out and do it, it's a must, but because the seats are all right in economy. I just think I say bigger lad and taller lad myself, the extra leg room definitely come in handy going. So we've got that. And to be honest, we did a split stay the last time we went. So we had like a basic, like cheapest chips hotel in Lake Buena Vista. It's called a Rosen Inn, which are budget. They're known for being budget, but they're clean. The beds are super comfy. They get cleaned every day, which is unlike Disney. So you get room service. I say room service. You know what I mean, like making up the rooms. And then we had 2 nights at the Grand Floridian. So probably do that again, which is like the main hotel at Magic Kingdom, Disney. Super expensive. You don't even want to know how much that cost for 2 nights. No. But I guess you can probably imagine. And then we went back to the basic hotel for a few days, and then we had a stay at the Animal Kingdom that I mentioned earlier on, with the Savannah view with the animals. So we kind of went all out for this one, because it was going to be like the last trip in a while. But then we kind of came back and we were like, this can't be the last trip for a while. So obviously we booked again, funnily enough. So probably say a good mixture. I wouldn't. It's going back to what you mentioned before. You're out every day doing something. If you're going to be spending thousands and thousands of pounds on one of the main Disney hotels for a whole 2 weeks, maybe even 3, depending on where you go, you've got to get your money's worth out of it. And that's going to be like going back to the room early and sleeping in. And don't get me wrong, you'll have that like the bragging rights of saying, oh, I've stayed in this hotel, but just get me a basic hotel, get me out doing stuff. I'm not really bothered where I sleep, as long as it's not dirty. As long as it's clean, I'm not bothered. I mean, I'm a bit of a snob, but I'll just say that I'll be honest. I'm a hotel snob. But the Rosen Inns are like 3-star, and like you'll look at the reviews and you'll think, oh my god, I'm not staying there. But I've been there myself, and like they're perfect. They're literally fine. So yeah, probably unlimited money. I'd probably go for 3 weeks, because obviously I normally go for 2 weeks. Obviously that's with work commitments, but again, 2 weeks isn't enough to do everything that you want without proper rushing everything. I'd probably do another stay at like one of the Disney hotels, like a short break. But yeah, just getting everything done. A lot of shopping, because going into Walmart and stuff, that's like a holiday itself.
Oh, dude, it is. I know exactly what you're saying. You know, when let's say when I was over in Texas in September last year, and like staying with my cousin, I went out for a family wedding, and it was just like, you know, I'm just nipping to Walmart. Oh, I'll come with you, dude. I'll come with you. Honestly, I could spend hours in those places. I can get lost.
I wish we had something like that over here. I think the closest we've got is Asda, isn't it? Because they obviously they were owned by Walmart, weren't they? Until quite recently.
They were.
But I just think you walk into there and you've got pretty much every single. I mean, I'm a bit of like a condiment sado, so like I don't know if you remember how many condiments they've got. They've got like a whole aisle section of barbecue sauce, where we'd only have like a couple of shelves.
I have a cupboard full of American condiments that I buy loads when I go. I love it.
What's your favourite, if you don't mind me asking?
I like the rubs. So the dry rubs that you put on meat. I'm a chupacabra man.
Right. I can't remember the manufacturer of them. Who is it again? I've got some of the sauces downstairs. They've got like a cow, like a.
I think it might be Three Gringos. I think it's called something like Three Gringos.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, they do a few, and so yeah. Oh no, yeah. Honestly, they're amazing. I've got some Holy Cow as well. I've got one I haven't opened yet. Actually, yeah, I'm saving it. It's one specifically for pork. It's called something like Hamageddon.
Oh wow! Yeah, they do.
It's got
everything is just
tank on it. I can't wait.
Everything is just better over there. Even the seasonings.
It is. There's nothing better than American barbecue. There really isn't.
Well, you get to go to the like the home. I want to throw in a trip to Texas sometime.
Yeah, I mean, there's no Disney parks there, but there's a SeaWorld. I don't know if that floats your boat.
Oh, to be fair, I'm not. I won't even say it's all about Disney for me going to America. I'm happy to do anything. I mean, I've got friends in Philadelphia, friends in Utah that I hopefully want to go out to one day. So that's on the bucket list. I want to do like a little bit of a road trip, but it's getting time off work, isn't it? To be able to, if you're going to do a road trip across America, you need at least a month.
Yeah.
Or as long as you can stay in the States. Is it 6 weeks?
Yeah, I think it might. I've never looked into that actually. Yeah, I've certainly never been there for that length of time. But yeah, it's definitely worth looking into. So we normally wrap things up round about the hour mark. Is there anything that we haven't covered off? Any hints and tips or anything that you want to shoehorn in before we finish?
Just main thing I would say is plan, watch videos. Don't go into it just stressing about what park you're going to go to, what day. Remember to do your Esters, because you believe it or not, a lot of people don't even realize that you need an Ester to go to the States. I mean, it's like probably teaching people to suck eggs, but you'd be surprised how many. I mean, very quickly, I don't know if you're in any of the groups on Facebook for American travelers, and people will be like, "Oh, I go to Florida, like maybe not tomorrow, but like the day after, like I haven't done my Esther." I'm like, "Oh my God, why are you risking that?" So yeah, do your Esters, plan. If you're thinking about vlogging, do it, even if it's just memories to show your kids of what they were when they were younger. Because I wish that maybe I'd got some of them to look back on to see what I did as a kid at like the parks. Yeah, just enjoy yourself and don't let people judge you if you're wanting to do even as an adult, if you're listening to this and you want to go out and just experience it, do it. Just go for it.
Amen. That's the best advice you could give anybody. Is just go out there, live your life, and enjoy it, and do what you want to do. I think
We live once.
Exactly. You only live.
It's a really cringy saying, but you only live once.
100%, dude. No, I totally agree. And it's, like I say, my wife likes me to film a lot of the stuff. Maybe she just want my ugly mug in the pictures. I don't know. But it is nice to have that stuff to look back on. Literally, we have photo albums done for every single holiday that we keep. And
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. And my kids love to look through it. Don't get me wrong. When they get a little bit older, they'll probably find it a little bit cringy, but to hell with them. I'm going to do it anyway. But I also, the one bit I would say on the Esther is, and this is, if you've got a young kid, good luck getting them to sit still for that photograph, for the photo recognition, where you got to take a picture and zoom in, and I guarantee they'll look away the second you try and get closer with a phone. So good luck with that one. That's
Did you, just going on to that, I'm guessing with you saying that, did you do it on the app?
Yeah, we did it on the app. Nightmare.
You don't need to do it if you do it through the website. You don't have to take the picture of the kids.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. I think. Well, I'm not even. I think I know. So yeah, just to bear that in mind, just so you don't have to fight with your kids to get a picture.
Oh man, it took us about 2.5 hours. He was tearful at the end as well. I feel quite guilty now. I didn't need to do that.
Oh, bless.
Yeah, that was a rough day, that one was.
Yeah, so if you do it on the website, obviously just make sure that you choose the actual US government website and not one of these pages that'll charge you like $50 to do it when it costs, I think it's $19 now. I think it went up from like $15. So just make sure you don't get scammed.
Yeah, solid advice, because there's plenty of you go out there, there's a lot of sponsored links you can click on first, end up paying extra. You don't need to. Basically, somebody just taking your information and putting it on the website. Yeah, you will get your visit as long as you're lucky at the end of it. You're asked to at the end of it. But yeah, you don't have to pay some of the prices.
Well, that's another really quick thing I just wanted to add, that when you're booking it and obviously you're researching, I personally wouldn't go with like a local travel agent. I would go with Virgin personally, or like one of the companies who are like geared up to Florida, like maybe like Ocean Florida. I know they charge a bit more, but I'd say going into your local, maybe your Virgin shop or your TUI. I think the closest Virgin shop, and annoyingly, is all the way at Trafford Centre. So it's not just down the road. To us anyway, obviously we're. But yeah, just don't do it with someone who maybe hasn't actually physically gone to Orlando themselves, because they might try and rip you off a little bit. And I think a lot of people don't get told that, one, you have to park, you have to pay for your parking at the parks, and it's just getting a real knowledge of like what you're signing yourself up to, because it's just not a normal holiday.
No, it's solid advice, that is, dude. It's something I'll take on board when we do eventually go.
Yeah, if you've got any questions, just shoot me a message and I'll help you out and stuff.
You know I will. You know I will.
Yeah, good.
So, did you want to share then where folks can find you online on Instagram, on YouTube, or anywhere else you'd care to share?
Yeah, of course. So it's really simple. So Instagram is Lew and Mill _ because someone's took Lew and Mill. YouTube is literally Lew and Mill. I'm trying to think what else we're on. TikTok is Lew and Mill. And other than that, I think we're just that's all. If anyone's got any questions, drop us a DM or anything.
Brilliant, and that is great advice. You know, you've got somebody now you can drop a message to and contact if you have any questions. And he's a man who's planning on going back next year. So if he hasn't got the answer right then, he can get back to you in the near future.
Yeah, anything. I mean, I'd bet my house on maybe answering a question. I mean, when it comes to Disney, like Universal, or anything Florida, I'd like to say I'm a bit of a guru. So yeah, any questions, I'll happily answer them.
Top man, top man. And it's been nice to have someone on from Alsager who I don't know. We've had a few people on from Alsager in the past, but it was a nice little surprise to find out. I know you guys were local, but I didn't realise you're quite as local as living in the
I
same.
know, proper small world.
It is a small world.
Might even be across the road from you, so you never know.
Well, listen,
you never know.
If you listen back to certain episodes that we've done in the past, Gaz, who lives next door to me, has given out his address a number of times on the podcast. So yeah, it doesn't take much fathoming to find out where we are. But Lew, thank you very much for sparing an hour of your time with us.
No, that's all right. Don't have to thank me. Thank
you for letting us come on. Oh no, I've really enjoyed it. I've learned a lot. And again, like I say, I love travel vloggers. I love holidays. I think everybody does, and everybody's thoughts turn to that this time of year. And if you're lucky enough to go to Disney, I know a channel you should definitely subscribe to. So, Lew, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
No problem. And we will catch you next time, and we will be talking about something entirely different altogether.